Episode 5 of the Buzz podcast is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, Jack's Poker, Australia's #1 online supplier of the highest quality poker merchandise and products. You can visit their website at www.jackspoker.com.au and don't forget to mention discount code POKERBUZZ10. That is POKERBUZZ with the number 10 for 10% off your total order. So with all that's been happening in the poker world re-COVID-19, I've personally been following the updates around the world, and especially about the city that never sleeps, my beloved Vegas, hence my background, people. But in doing so, I came across a vlogger who not only has a passion for poker, but is hands-on in the industry from the other side of the table. So without further ado, a very warm welcome to Ronald Baltazar, known as YouTube vlogger Ronnie Bizzle. Hey, Ronnie,
Hello.
welcome to the Buzz.
Hello, Sola. Thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure. So, Ronnie, I thought it would be great to have you on the show because you are actually living in Vegas, breathing Vegas, in this catastrophe at the moment would be probably the word for it. So I thought none other. I've been watching you, enjoying your vlogs. So I thought it would be great to have you on the show. But to start with, just a little bit of a rundown of Ronnie Bizzle, just for the audience to get to know you a little bit about your background um, with poker, obviously, and yeah, what you do.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Um, I was in the military for about 11 years, and during the time, I picked up a love for poker. I played a lot when I was in the military, just playing regular home games. And then when I lived in New Mexico, I was actually playing poker. And then I discovered, Texas Hold'em, and I got hooked. Literally, after I played my first couple sessions, I bought a book. I got consumed by it. So then, when I got moved to I got uh, transferred to Las Vegas, Nevada, the Air Force Base called Nellis Air Force Base, and I was nearing the end of my enlistment, and I was been playing a lot of poker during that time. Whenever I get off work, I would go down to the Mirage, go play the 10-20 limit games, which is very popular back in the early 2000s. I played a lot of tournaments, and I decided I was doing very, very well playing poker, and so I was going to try my hand at trying to play poker professionally. So what happened was, at the end of my enlistment, I told my wife, my girlfriend at the time, I'm going to try this for a couple months. So I got out of the military, um, played some poker. I did very well. This is back when in the States we were able to play on Paradise, Poker Stars, Party Poker. And so I played and I did very, very well. But then we had a kid. My wife and I had a kid, and then we had bills. So I decided I need to look for a job, need more stable income. So I tried looking for a job in the job I was doing in the military, which was IT. But I had a hard time getting a job that fits my criteria. And then one day out of the blue, my wife said, "Why don't you try being a poker dealer?" And I was like, I never really thought about that. So one day when I was playing, I actually, instead of playing to concentrate to win money, I was actually watching the dealer, like what he was doing and trying to pick up the certain things they were doing. And I noticed, like, wait a minute now, every hand somebody's throwing this guy $1. I'm like, they must be making pretty good money here. Like, okay. So I talked to my wife, goes, okay, I'll give it a shot. And wife, I had some poker friends, and she got me turned on to this dealing school. I went to dealing school after 5 weeks, I auditioned, and the very very first place I auditioned at, I actually passed, and I got the job, and that was 2005, May 5th, 2005. And since then, I've been at the same job, dealing poker for that poker room till obviously the pandemic. So I've been dealing Poker for what is that? 15 years now.
15 years.
Yes, the same
That's
poker room. I've been very
excellent.
lucky, very very lucky.
Wow, same poker room.
Yes,
You must have seen a lot there, Ronnie.
I've seen plenty. I can tell you so many stories that were just out of my mind.
I mean, I sit there in a poker room and we come for a few hours, over a couple of weeks, every day, and your eyes are just like, wow, really? Okay. Let alone 15 years of it.
I've been dealing, like I said, I've been dealing with poker for 15 years. I get every day I can tell you a story about what happened that day. If it's slow, if it's fat, if it's busy, if I'm doing one table, there's always one unique story out of every poker dealing session that I can tell you. That's crazy.
And the bad beats, I bet you've heard
Oh yeah, I've
like,
heard plenty of bad beats. Whenever somebody comes up to me and tells me, "Well, I had Ace King," I immediately tune them out
it's like,
because every bad beat story starts with Ace King. It starts with Pocket Jacks. So I was like,
Jacks.
okay, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear
Yeah,
it.
true. Don't worry, it's the same here in Oz. Same stories. They never fail.
Never.
Never. So, Ronnie, just to ask, with just prior to COVID coming in, obviously there was a bit of warning that was happening with the pandemic across the other side of the world, etc. So, what was that atmosphere and feeling like within the casino um, where you are at in your poker room of like the uncertainty, the shock, the fear of the unknown? It would have been a disbelief too of even the thought of all the casinos having to shut down for a period of time. Like, what was that like?
Well, honestly, for myself and I know the people that I work with, we didn't really notice the severity of what was happening with this coronavirus until around, I would say, maybe February.
Mm.
Because in our poker room there's TV, so and sometimes we'll have the news on, and every day we would see updates about the coronavirus. This many people has gotten it. It's spreading across China. Then it went to Italy, and then the next day we know it went to like the states, like Washington and California. But it never really like I didn't really feel the effects of it until the customers started talking about it, and they're a lot of them were distracted because they kept looking up at the TV and say this coronavirus is kind of a serious thing, and at the time I didn't like we didn't even know about it. We just thought it was like a cold. It was like because I know COVID-19 is like like a cold strand or something, so I thought it was just a cold. So I thought it was just like as long as people stay in their like cover their mouths or don't sneeze or whatever on other people. I thought we'd be fine.
Yeah.
But then come around March, they were talking about I know I heard like one of the states, Washington, I think California, I know, and of course like Italy and China were in a lockdown. So then we started getting memos from my work saying that this is a kind of a serious issue. So and then still, I mean, we're still busy, we're still dealing, customers still coming in, but then talk of the coronavirus just kind of consumed the tables. And then once again, we were still working, we're still trying to make money, we're still trying to keep our poker room running, and just it never really affected until the day that we were um like it's furloughed. It's like you were let go of your job, and then it kind of hit us. The place that I work at, they gathered all the poker dealers at around at March, I think it was March 15th, and told us that this they're closing down the poker rooms, the poker room where I work at, and then that's when it really hit me pretty hard. And then like back up there, like the day before, they shut down all the sporting events, the NBA, the NHL, hockey, basketball, and baseball were all shut down. And literally like the next day, we were told we wouldn't be working anymore. So, and then I was like furloughed. I was furloughed. I was not working. It's rough.
Wow. It's pretty much like we had a slow process here too, but then when it shut, it would just like completely shut down just like that. So you've been in quarantine now since pretty much mid-March, so a good
Yes.
nearly 8 weeks.
Yes. About 2 months. Yeah, about 8 weeks. March 16th, we got told we were furloughed, and so about 8 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah. So, Ronnie, in your experience with the industry, what do you see like with Vegas, word on the street, so to speak, with your work, etc., like the future of poker? Because we've seen, because I've been following around too, and they've been talking now of reopening casinos on a gradual basis, but, starting them with four-handed poker. Like,
Yeah, it's
when I first
pretty
heard of
ridiculous.
four-handed poker, I was like, we're not on a dining
Yeah.
table at home playing
Right.
with the kids, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it's really hard to fathom um, how will that work? B, will people take to that? Like, will players, accept that, so to speak, to play? Or is it more beneficial for the poker rooms to stay closed that little bit longer until they get more, um, news on this COVID-19 of the how to stop it, so to speak.
Well, I'm an optimistic person by nature, and so I always think that we're all going to be back. I thought we'd be back to work in like a month and 2 months, but as this is dragged on, the prospects of us having a poker the way it used to be back, when it was thriving, when it was just normal, it's going to be few and far between because they're talking about doing four-handed poker. Well, I don't know what is in Australia, but in the States, if it's seven-handed, people are already complaining about about the rake or whatever, combining tables. So trying to get people to play four-handed is going to be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. But the optimistic part is, people will, if they really want to play poker, they will adjust to
Yeah.
the new norm if they really really want to play. But the other side of me is thinking that it's probably not going to happen as far as like the normal nine-handed poker rooms because, like I said earlier, people are afraid to travel now. So because the base of our poker room, of our customers is tourists, and uh, it's going to be hard to get them to play to come fly over to Vegas and risk their lives or whatever, and there's no safety, and then now they're playing four-handed. So it's really, really going to be tough. My feeling as someone who's been in the industry this long is I think it's going to be a while before we're back to nine-handed poker
Yeah.
because of that. Um, I just feel that it's good right now. People are afraid to like shake somebody's hand or go into a room where there's more than two people. I can't imagine them coming to a casino where it's notoriously, let's face it,
Bumper to
there's germs
bumper.
everywhere. Yeah, dumper germs everywhere. People everywhere. And Vegas is like a real hot spot for like
Yeah.
parties. So that, and combined with the fact that poker is not really a money making entity for the casino, it's going to be hard to justify them um, opening a poker room four-handed, thinking it's going to be profitable, worth it. So, like I said, I'm optimistic that it could happen, but it's gonna be a while. Like I know they're talking about the World Series of Poker moving it to November, and I just don't see it happening. I really, unless they come with some miracle drug and some miracle vaccine, November is really early, to win the World Series of Poker because the fact that nobody's going to be here from the other countries because the World Series of Poker brings everybody from the world that loves
Yeah,
poker
from around the
into
world.
one
That's right.
world. And I'm not sure if they're going to lift the bans for travel, even if people wanted to come here. people are like the countries that are banned from coming over here. So I don't know. I'm thinking 2020 might be a wash for poker. So
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I feel the same. Like personal opinion, obviously. Even here in Australia, we've just had some restrictions which will be waived tomorrow, um, with groups of 10, but no pubs and clubs are to be opened, no casinos are yet to be opened, none of that as yet. And with the World Series of Poker, I agree. They said about the fall when I read about it, and I thought, oh, how do you do September to November with WSOP? Like you said, attracting these people and international players, obviously all over the world, the pro players
yeah.
that do travel the circuit. Obviously, that's their life, that's their living. And yes, some of those countries have still got their restrictions where they won't be able to travel for another 6 months at least. So yeah, it's still all up in the air, really.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is my personal opinion, and I first think they're probably going to cancel the World Series and just like try again next year, kind of a deal. Until because just there's no way you can like really, I mean, justify bringing thousands and thousands of people without the proper protection and the social distancing, which is not evident when you play poker. But just
Or in
I don't know.
Vegas.
Or in Vegas, yes.
I don't think I've ever seen a social distancing rule happen in Vegas ever.
No, no, never.
So speaking of the hygiene and that was my next thing to ask you was, so have you heard anything regarding the casinos? I know I've read a few. They have to actually apply now to the Nevada board with a plan of rules, regulations of how they're going to control the hygiene of people coming into the casinos. So I heard that they'll be wiping the chairs, etc. Where as soon as someone gets up from a table, I mean,
Hmm.
that's going to be a job in itself, Ronnie. Like Vegas, there's so many casinos, like, and getting
Yeah.
up from a chair and having that wiped as soon as someone leaves, and then the dealers themselves, I heard, will have to, on a half hourly or hourly basis, have to be wiping down the button, the green or red button, etc.
Yep.
So have
Absolutely. Yep.
you? Yeah, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Which is another reason why they're probably not open poker. Just it just seems like there's too much there's too much restrictions going on that we have to do. But as a result, it's gonna not make money for the house because instead of us dealing a hand, we're doing all these cleaning things. So we're not dealing as many hands, which means we're not raking many pots, which means the house is not making any money, which means that okay, well, people in the upper like are gonna think, well, poker's not making any money for us, so let's just get rid of it. So yeah, but I know that as far as like the casinos, they're only gonna have like 50% occupancy for at a time, which I don't know how they're gonna deal with it because the casinos in Vegas, there's like 7, 8 different ways to get into a casino. I don't know how they're gonna track 50% capacity. I know they're gonna put uh like uh like glass between like slot machines and like I think it's every other slot machine will be open. So I mean, yeah. Then of course the four-handed poker. There's like three-handed blackjack. You can only play six at a craps table. So it's gonna be different when they do
Oh,
when they do decide to roll it out.
it'll just be so different just to see, like in real life, just to see Vegas
Yeah,
in that way compared to what
yeah.
it's usually like.
I mean the buzz in Vegas is always everyone having a good time, having fun, but it's gonna be people gonna come here and they're not they're gonna be more worried about um, getting sick or this some guy next to's coughing and when you're walking through a casino, you're trying to like avoid people. It's just the fun part of Vegas. It's going to be, I think, gone for a while. But who knows?
So
It's
just
kind it's
quickly,
kind of it
lastly,
feels kind of grim, but
yeah, just lastly, Ronnie, with your experience being there with in Vegas for 15 years, so would this be the only time that you've seen Vegas shut down for this long?
yes. I know during 9/11, they said that I wasn't here for that, but people I work with told me that yeah, the city was a ghost town for like maybe a week or 2 weeks or so, but it pretty much recovered, you know. But this is like a different this is a different
Yeah,
animal. This is something we would never come across. You know, people still don't know anything about the virus, so it's people still hearsay, rumor, whatever, and people get the facts disjointed. So just there's a lot of uncertainty as far as you know with the casino industry. So
yeah. Well, I hope that Vegas, well, the whole world, we all get back to some normality, as they say.
yeah.
But Vegas, I've seen photos and just other vloggers as well, Ronnie, and just seeing the strip so bare, and you could probably hear a pin drop. Like it's just like someone's just washed like everything away, and it's just clear. Like you don't see or hear nothing. Have you been walking?
Yeah,
Like I've seen you with your vlogs, but as you go through, that must be a weird feeling too.
it was a weird feeling. I always think I'm gonna see like Will Smith come out with a machine gun or something right in the middle of Disney. Where's everybody at? Where are you? Like it feels like a
Come out,
really
come out.
bad yeah, it feels like a really bad action move, apocalypse action move with Will Smith in there or something. That's how it feels, but it feels like it's real life. It's the way it is right now. So it's it's
Yeah.
grim, but I'm sure we'll get back to the way Vegas was, pre-COVID. It just might take a while, but Vegas has been through a lot, and it always recovers. Anything bad happens in Vegas, we always recover because ultimately there's still an aura about Las Vegas. People still want to come to Las Vegas, so eventually they'll all come back. When I'm not sure, but I think eventually we'll all be back to normal, and we'll be a partying up. I know when Vegas really opens, it's probably the biggest party in the world. So we're looking forward to that here.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I'll be there. I can hardly wait for the gates to open. I've already booked my ticket. I'm there.
We'll be
So,
glad to have you.
thanks, Ronnie. And we'll have a drink together. That's for sure. So, just to wrap things up, Ronnie, we are you ready to take on 60 seconds with Queen Bee?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, clock's on. So, your favorite go-to quarantine snack?
Turkey slices.
Of course. Your favorite poker player?
My favorite poker player is probably, I would say, wow, I would say Daniel Negreanu.
Oh, high five. That's an extra drink for you. He's my favorite too. So preference, day or night on the strip?
Night, definitely night.
You like the lights. So
Absolutely.
which pro player have you not dealt to and but would like to deal to?
I would like to deal to Johnny Chan.
Mm, nice choice. And who have you dealt to?
As far as
Was the list
celebrity or
too
just
long?
anybody,
As in pro
I've
players?
dealt to a lot of pro players. I deal low limit, so I rarely see. But I remember what's the guy's name? I can't remember his name, but he finished like fifth in the main event, and God, I can't think of his name. And he used to play in our poker room before he became famous. So when he after the main event, he actually came by the poker room. He bought in all his friends for our small little $60 poker tournament. There was
Oh,
maybe 30 of
cool.
them. and it was like it was so fun.
That would have been
It was like
cool.
they're incredible because these guys play for like millions of dollars and they're playing $6 tournament and seem like just having a good time. Rebuy, rebuy, rebuy.
Rebuy,
It was
rebuy. Yeah, that would have been
and they were
awesome.
they were so nice. They were so nice. They were super super nice. Like, I can't think of his name. I
That'll
know
be
he
for
finished
our
fifth in
next
the main
show, all
event.
right?
Yeah. Oh man, I can't think of his name.
So, okay, then. Well, thanks again, John, for joining us, Ronnie. Wishing you all the best. But we will keep in touch with further updates on the Vegas COVID-19 for 2020. But I just want to tell the
Absolutely.
audience also to make sure to go and follow and subscribe to Ronnie's YouTube channel, which is called Ronnie Bizzle TV. So make sure you go check that out on YouTube. And again, thanks, Ronnie. It's been a pleasure, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you for having me. Hope to we can do this again.
Yeah, no, pleasure. So this is Sula, and thanks for joining us on PokerBuzz. Make sure to follow us on all our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and tune in and listen to our podcast on Spotify. Until next week, people, buzz for now.